This is my barn find Suzuki X7. But trust me, this is not how I found it. When I first laid eyes on it, it was buried at the bottom of a garden.
Leaning against the shed.
Leaning against the shed. Oh, it's abandoned for decades. The frame was rusted solid, the paint had vanished, and the engine was completely seized. Very seized. Most people would have left it to die, but not me. I chose to rescue it. Piece by piece, I cleaned, painted, and rebuilt the engine, determined to bring this Suzuki X7 back to life.
That is so nice.
That's so good, isn't it? And would you believe it? I even managed to get it to fire up for the very first time. So we are nearly there. Now all that's left is a few final touches and we can see how this old Suzuki X7 handles the open road. Do you know, there's one thing I always dread, and that is bleeding front brake calipers, especially on old motorcycles. I've been here about 45 minutes now and I'm not getting any luck. I've tried everything, fresh fluid, even gravity bleeding, but this thing just isn't having it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it overnight and I'm going to just tie the brake lever permanently open and hope that it just somehow miraculously bleeds itself. We've also got to balance these carbs. I'm going to show you a clever way of doing so. Once we've also balanced the carbs, then we need to set up the oil pump too. So what I've done is I've got two pieces of cardboard, wedged them down the inlets. As I twist the throttle, that suggests that the carbs are balanced. As I check that the oil pump is in sync with the carbs, you'll see that little dot, and then if you come to the oil pump, this little mark here needs to line up with that mark, that groove there. So that is out of time. I just need to make sure it's adjusted and synced perfectly with the throttle so the engine gets the right amount of oil. When it comes to the clocks, these are not designed to be split. However, they are a little bit tatty, so I hope they work, but obviously I need to tidy them up because otherwise the clocks will let the bike down. In a perfect world, I'd split these, repaint everything and rebuild them. But in reality, they'd probably never go back together again, so this is a bit of a compromise. The exhausts were a proper mess too. The rust was so bad the chrome was beyond saving, so I had them stripped back, hit them with a heat resistant primer, and then finished them in silver. These are supposedly all speeds, and if you didn't know, they cost £700 to replace. I've done my absolute best to make them look nice enough because, quite frankly, I don't want to replace them. As for the clocks, well, they've come out not too shabby either. And yes, whilst they're not perfect, I think I'm going to allow them to just be a little bit, let's call it, authentic looking. Because the screws, if you can see closely, some of the screws are still a little bit rusty. But what do you do? I did find out these clocks can actually be professionally rebuilt. But at around £250 each, which is pretty outrageous, I might have to consider it though, depending on whether they even work. I'm always learning with projects like this, figuring out what's possible and what isn't. I could practice on these, but they are so rare, I'm not sure I'd want to risk it. But you'll be glad to know that I've changed the handlebars. I've swapped them out for these chrome bad boys. Also got a front brake lever working now, which basically it was just a stubborn air bubble. The grips are on, clocks are in place. We're getting ever so closer to riding this bike on the open road, and I cannot wait. Looking back at how I first found it, it didn't even look like something worth saving, but for some reason I just couldn't resist giving it a try. It's honestly hard to believe how far this thing has come. Just a few more parts to bolt on and then we could be smelling that sweet two-stroke smell. This is the bit I love, when all the late nights start to feel worth it. It finally feels like this Suzuki is almost ready to ride, and all that effort is starting to pay off. Now that the exhausts are on the bike, I'm not entirely sure they go with the look. Yeah, let me know what you reckon in the comment section. But the thing is, it's good to see the bike is very close. Very, very close. Before I get stuck into the next job, I do just want to say a massive thank you to GT85 for supporting this build. Honestly, I've been using GT85 since I first started messing around with bikes because it's just this perfect all-rounder. Whether it's freeing up old bolts, protecting parts, or keeping everything running smoothly, I found myself using GT85 throughout the Suzuki X7 rebuild, and it's been an absolute lifesaver. So if you are working on your own project, then I highly recommend you grab yourself a can of GT85 because there will be a moment you're going to need this. Thank you, GT85. All right, so being a two-stroke, obviously we need to ensure that the two-stroke oil pump is primed. So what that means is I'm going to have to put some oil, 2-stroke oil in the tank, and then I'm going to have to try and bleed the oil pump while the engine is running. So let's try and get the bike running again. At this point in any build, it's all about patience. The big jobs are done, the engine's rebuilt, the paint's finished, everything's bolted back together. Now it's down to the little things that make all the difference. Fresh 2-stroke oil in, that smell alone takes you back to another time. A time when these bikes ruled the streets. Lightweight, raw and alive. I've spent months getting to this stage, but now it finally feels close. Really close. And then there's this quiet moment before everything changes. At this point, it's pure trial and error. Fuel, air, spark. You think you've done everything right, but sometimes the bike's just not ready to wake up yet. A little tweak of the air screws, a shot of easy start. Let's see if that does it. I think it's only running on one cylinder. Yep, definitely running on one cylinder. I'm going to pour some 2-stroke oil down that cylinder barrel and I'm going to start it up again, and then maybe it'll get going. Yep, definitely running on one cylinder. So we've got, I believe, an issue with the carbs. Absolutely smoking hell. So, if I hold my hand over the intake on the left-hand side carb, the other cylinder then starts to come to life. But it's been a very long day, so I think I'm going to go away and come back another day, and then we can sort out that carb. But I love the smell. You know, you spend months rebuilding a bike, chasing every detail, and then when you finally get to the point of almost riding it, it just doesn't go to plan. Looking back at where this thing started though, rotting away in that garden, it's already come so far. So a little setback like this, it's just another part of the story. Now then, it's been a couple of days and we've got 2 carburetors removed from the X7 because obviously we want to go through these carbs and make sure that everything is working accordingly. The solution might be so simple this will blow your mind, and this isn't out there on the internet. You can't really find this. I have had a look. I spoke to a guy. He reckons I've mixed the float bowls up. Yes, the float bowls are slightly different. On the left hand float bowl you can see that there is a hole here, a vent hole, whereas on the right hand side carb that vent hole is actually blanked out. Now this carb on the left is the one with the choke. That vent hole is supposed to work in conjunction with this. The right hand side carb, there is none of that. However, there is a little bit of grit. That's not great. I think that is from the vapor blasting. Now when I got these carbs back from the vapor blasting, I did airline them out. There's clearly still some grit. Only one way to find out, and that is to give them a clean, stick them back on the bike, and we go for another start and see what happens. Every time you think you're nearly there, something small shows up to test your patience. A bit of grit, a blocked jet, tiny things that can make or break a first start. So it's one more strip down, one more clean, one more rebuild of these carbs. It's a part no one sees, but it's what makes a difference between a bike that runs and one that doesn't. Carburetor's back on the bike. I had to rebalance them, and also I removed the spark plugs and I put a little squirt of 2-stroke down both barrels. We've got the fuel barrels are hooked up. I am feeling positive. Let's go for a kickstart. Oh yeah! It's been a journey getting to this point, but hearing it run like that, knowing the state those barrels were in when we stripped it down, makes every late night worth it. And there we go, all back together, and just look at it. From a rusted wreck at the bottom of a garden to this. What a transformation. I cannot believe how it's come out. Let's get the lid on. Let's take it for a ride. Before I take it out, I just want to give everything a quick coat of GT85. It's perfect for keeping the metalwork protected and giving the bike that final bit of care before it hits the road. Helmet on, gloves on. This is a moment I've been working towards since the day I found it. Key on. Let's go. It's a bit cold. Come on, baby. Let's go. Oh. Just need to warm it up. Let's see if it'll idle. Okay, so this is always the very exciting part, but also the part that leaves me a little bit nervous, because you just don't know what to expect when you're riding a bike for the very first time after it's spent about 20 plus years sat at the bottom of a garden rotting away. So I'm going to take it easy. I'm not going to go too mad. Obviously we've got to run the engine in, right? But we're moving. We're doing just over 20 miles per hour. Revs are hanging very slightly, not too bad. Just a slight adjustment of that carb. Once the bike is running and up to temperature, we can do all of those sort of things. But I'm just so thankful it's actually riding under its own steam. It's pulling us along. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, we've got the indicator flashing right. Watch out, mate. See how fast you're coming in. He knocks us off. Yeah, clutch is slipping very slightly. That's an easy fix, so surely. This is all I want to do, is I want to just take it out on the road, see how it feels. Oh, it's slipping quite bad actually, to be fair. Right, what I'll do is I'm going to try and adjust this clutch very quickly. I ain't got any spanners with me. It's going to be difficult. I don't think I can do it. Shame. But what do you expect when you ride the bike for the very first time? This is the whole point of a shakedown ride. This is the second full rebuild I've done on the channel. What a feeling it is. And I need to just keep double checking behind me while I'm turning right, because obviously we've got no mirrors. But that's okay. That's okay. We're moving, but with a very, very slippy clutch. Let's double check. Let's have a look around it. Very smoky on the right hand side, but not on the left. Oh, what's going on? Oh. Alright, key on. Now it's cutting out. That's very odd. Let's get it back to the workshop. Something doesn't seem right. No power. Come on, baby. Oh, this is embarrassing, but I'm a mile down the road from the workshop, so stick the left indicator. Oh, come on, baby. Talk to me. Talk to me. Come on. Let's get back to the workshop. Please don't break down on me. Not sure what's going on. It's like it's running on one cylinder again, I think. Get me home, please. We've managed just over 4 miles. Not a lot, but it's well down on power right now. Massively down on power. There's nothing. Come on. Alright, not a very successful first ride, but a first ride nonetheless. Obviously we've got a few little niggles. All I'm going to focus now on is getting those little issues, those little niggles fixed, and then I'm going to figure out where we're going to take this bike, because obviously I want to enjoy it. Let me know in the comment section below where I can take this bike. Any ideas, drop them below. But for now, I'm going to go away and I'm going to get this bike running proper, and then we're going to enjoy it in the next one. So thank you ever so much for watching. See you later.